HMS Gloucester was one of the second group of 3 ships of the Tan class of light cruisers. She was launched on the 19th of October 1937 prior to commissioning on the 31st of January 1939. Gloucester was nicknamed the Fighting G and saw heavy service in the early years of World War II. The ship was deployed initially to the Indian Ocean and later South Africa before joining Vice Admiral Cunningham's Mediterranean fleet in 1940. She was sunk on the 22nd of May 1941 during the Battle of Crete with the loss of 722 men out of a crew of 807. Service history. In the Indian Ocean and South Africa, on the 7th of April 1939, Gloucester left Malta to take over the East Indies station as flagship of the 4th Cruiser Squadron under the command of Rear Admiral Ralph Leatham. She spent much of that year patrolling the Indian Ocean. In December, she was moved to Simonstown, South Africa, where she was used unsuccessfully against German raiders. In the Mediterranean, she was transferred again in May 1940, this time to the Mediterranean, where she experienced plenty of action. On the 7th of July, she sailed from Alexandria bound for Malta with the rest of Vice Admiral Cunningham's fleet to take up convoy duty. The next day, an Italian air attack hit the ship's bridge, killing 18 crew members instantly, including the captain, Air Farside CBE, Commander J.R. Darth and Lieutenant Commanders Churchill and Lindsay. As a result of the attack, the ship could not be steered from the bridge and was uncontrolled for a time before Lieutenant Commander Reginald P. Tanner took charge from the aft steering position. Despite an inoperable bridge, the ship remained with the fleet and saw action on the 9th of July in the Battle of Calabria. After the battle, the fleet joined up with the Allied convoys in Malta, before arriving back in Alexandria on the 13th of July. While repairs were carried out to the bridge in Alexandria, the crew was introduced to the new captain, Henry Aubrey Rowley DSO, and Lieutenant Commander Tanner was promoted to commander. The second half of 1940 was spent in the eastern Mediterranean and in the Aegean. On the 11th of January 1941, while supporting Operation Excess, Gloucester and fellow cruiser Southampton came under attack from Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers while leaving Malta. Gloucester was hit by a bomb which failed to explode. Southampton was hit by at least 2 bombs southeast of Malta and caught fire. The resulting blaze spread from stem to stern and trapped a number of men below decks. 81 men were killed, with the survivors being picked up by Gloucester and the destroyer Diamond. Heavily damaged and without power, Southampton was sunk by 1 torpedo from Gloucester and 4 from the cruiser Orion. In March, Gloucester was at the Battle of Matapan and, in April, performed several bombardments along the North African coast. One such mission took place on the 21st of April 1941. Under the command of Admiral Cunningham, Gloucester, along with battleships Warspite, Valiant, and Barham, and various destroyers, attacked Tripoli harbour. A second bomb hit caused minor damage. Sinking Gloucester formed part of a naval force acting against German military transports to Crete, with some success. On the 22nd of May 1941, while in the Kythera Strait, about 14 miles north of Crete, she was attacked by German Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers and sank, having sustained at least 4 heavy bomb hits and 3 near misses. Of the 807 men aboard at the time of her sinking, only 85 survived. Her sinking is considered to be one of Britain's worst wartime naval disasters. The circumstances of the sinking were featured by a BBC programme. According to this, the dispatch of Gloucester, alone and low on fuel and anti-aircraft ammunition, into danger was a grievous error. Furthermore, the failure to attempt to rescue survivors after dark was contrary to usual Navy practice. A survivor commented, "The tradition in the Navy is that when a ship has sunk, a vessel is sent back to pick up survivors under cover of darkness. That did not happen and we do not know why. We were picked up by Germans." Another account of the sinking differs from, and adds to, the BBC report. In this, Gloucester and the cruiser.She, both already low on ammunition, had been sent to support the rescue of survivors from the destroyer Greyhound. Fierce air attacks further depleted their ammunition and they were given permission to rejoin the main fleet. It was during the return that Gloucester was sunk. Fiji was sunk later the same day, on the 30th of May 1941. In a letter to the First Sea Lord, Sir Dudley Pound, Admiral Cunningham wrote, "The sending back of Gloucester and Fiji to the Greyhound was another grave error and cost us those two ships. They were practically out of ammunition, but even had they been full up I think they would have gone. The commanding officer of Fiji told me that the air over Gloucester was black with planes. The wreck site is a protected place under the Protection of Military Remains Act." Amongst the crew was the former Southampton footballer Norman Catlin. Other reading.